angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our worth of stone, our ashes, and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. Wow. Still feeling a little bit rough. Not quite as bad, I don't think. But, yeah, I definitely got something nagging on me. I didn't even really want to eat today. So, and usually by the time we eat, I'm pretty well, I'm ready to go. I'm starving. But anyway, that is what it is. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to run through the normal stuff. I do have a couple of topics that I want to cover real quick, and then we'll kind of open the floor and open it up for discussion. So real quick, let me pull this damn sweatshirt pullover thing off because I'm burning up. It's one of the things I'm dealing with too, hot and cold, hot and cold. Fun. 1 second. And dropping stuff, which I don't think is really associated today, but I had one heck of a mess to clean up earlier. About a gallon and a half of water that just, probably about a gallon of it that just went all over the floor. It was luckily the kitchen floor. So, okay, so let me run through the normal stuff real fast. And like I said, I got a couple of topics that I want to go over real quick. Let's see here. Throw on my glasses. Amazon affiliate. We're at $20.33. So thank you for those that participate in that. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to do this month. At the end of the month when we get our affiliate money, I'm not quite sure. Couple of different things. There's so many different things, to be honest. So I really haven't sat down and really kind of thought about it a lot. I do need to get back on that list, on our priority list, and I need to start getting stuff knocked off of that. Pretty well caught up on I think, most things as far as with the projects I've got going on. I do want to get a filter set for the drone yet. So I'm kind of keeping an eye out, though, and seeing there's been some issues with some of the filters. And so I'm kind of trying to keep an eye out on the different brands and stuff to see which ones are having the issues and which ones aren't. And but anyway, there's a set, $50 set that's not that doesn't look too awful shabby. So that's something I've been looking at. They're just they call them ND filters, and then the set I'm looking at comes with a UV filter and a CPL filter, and then it comes with, I think there's 6 in the set. I think it comes with your 8, your 16, your 32, and your 64 for your ND filters. I don't know a lot about it, but I looked at the different brands and stuff quite a bit on Amazon. And that seems really to be about the best bang for the buck, as long as they're decent units. And that's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see people start leaving reviews and stuff on it, so I can make sure that there's no problems or anything like that. I had almost already had gotten them, and then decided against it, just simply because I don't know how much I'm going to use or / need them. Okay. So we'll see. But that's one of the things I've been thinking about. Anyway, to carry on, for those that don't know, we are an Amazon affiliate. You can simply help us out by using our affiliate link. That's in the description of the videos, as well as at the watchmannews.com in the top right here. You just click that link. It just takes you to Amazon. That's all it does. It takes you to Amazon. You put in there what you're looking for. You click buy. You buy it. And it gives us credit for the sale if you use that link to go to Amazon. So let's see. Every little bit adds up, and it doesn't take long. It really doesn't. And much, much appreciated. We've got a Teespring store. Teespring stores best to access from the website. Go to thewatchmannews.com. Scroll down on the homepage. You'll see our different products right there, the different designs, I should say. There's coffee mugs, wall tapestries, tote bags, you name it. There's all kinds of stuff with these different designs on it. That's another way you can help us out, as well as get yourself some cool gear. I will be putting a lot more stuff on here, and, it's not... As you can see, I've got 4 different things up there. Only one of them even has our logo on it. So this isn't one of those things to where I'm worried about exposure, because it is what it is. I could get all the exposure in the world and it wouldn't matter. We'd still be a small channel because we tell the truth. We talk about the truth, and unfortunately the majority is looking for confirmation bias and not the truth. So it is what it is. So, I figure instead of labeling everything with the Watchman News, just make something that says the message is what's important, right? The message is what's important. Let's see. Also, we do have a PayPal donate link. That's also in the description of the videos, as well as in the main menu at thewatchmannews.com. That just takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can just do it as a guest with a debit or a credit card. But I always let people know, because it can be confusing. It will say Transforming Disabilities, but it also says Purpose the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. So, let's see. Okay. Got that covered. Let me have a sip of coffee here. First thing I want to discuss is next month. So we are exactly 1 month away from the coldest month of the year. I know you thought I was going to say Valentine's Day, which is true, but that brings up a good point. Why in the hell did somebody make Valentine's Day during the coldest month of the year? What kind of brains was that? I mean, really? Seriously? What gives? Wouldn't it be more appealing if it was like maybe April or May, springtime, and I don't know. Anyway, I thought of that, and I thought it was important that we really needed to bring it up on the news. Probably the most important news of the day. No, seriously, I thought about that, and it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. Why in the hell would you put Valentine's Day during the coldest month of the year? It makes no damn sense at all. But anyway, on a more serious note, I don't think I played this video on the show. I don't think I did. Nonetheless, I am going to play it today during the monologue. Hopefully this video gets out there. The channel that it's on is called Texas Cannabis Queen. Now, I believe that this young lady's videos are being uploaded a ton of different places. So I don't know what relation Texas Cannabis Queen has with this young lady, or what the deal is. But I do know this is a serious situation. I do know that we the people, if we want to do anything, if we want to help this young woman, we better act, and we better act now. And I mean now. And I don't mean by calling our representatives. No, that ain't going to do it. That ain't going to do it. I seen an update today on this young lady. I believe it's sometime this week. I believe that she goes in for her operation. I don't know all of the ins and outs, all of the little fine details of what's going on. Okay, let me bring this up, and that way you guys can see it too, and then I'll play the video. That is not what I wanted. That is what I wanted. Okay. This is from Kylee Stewart, for those of you that might remember her from Malheur Wildlife Refuge and all of that. This is from her Facebook, and this is what it says. She's obviously, according to the meme, denied a second medical opinion. Just what little bit of backstory I can help you with? Well, the video will explain that. Let me just say this, and then we'll watch the video, kind of backwards, but that's me anyway. Kylee Dixon was taken to OHSU yesterday in preparation for surgery today. Okay, so I guess actually we're already late. without the awareness of the family. OHSU wants the tumor. Okay, she's got a cancerous tumor. Kylee was promised by CPS her mom would be by her side. OHSU should be ashamed of their doctor who is willing to go through with this surgery. Protesters should be all over that facility, and their phone lines should not rest today. Let's see. She gives the information for the DHS caseworker involved, and for, I believe, the OHSU surgeon. And it says, Kylie's alone without her mother or sister preparing for the biggest fight of her life. She has only a 35% chance of pulling through with this surgery that she doesn't want nor need. Let me repeat that again. She has only a 35% chance of pulling through this surgery that she does not want nor need. OHSU wants her as a lab rat because she has a rare liver tumor that they can use for research. If she continues to get better with the CBD oil and other natural regimens, they lose their specimen. I'm telling you, the medical community will do these things. Absolutely. And these so-called child protective services, folks, we have to stop standing in our little bubbles, trying to ignore as much of what goes on outside our own doors as possible, so that we can maybe try to hold on to a few crumbs ourselves. We have to stop. Man, we either all go fight together or we hang separately, and that's just the way it is. And it's going to be for different things. They're going to get one person for one thing, another person for another thing. They've been doing it for decades. They've been doing it in our legal systems. They've been doing it everywhere. We either stand together or we hang alone. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Now I'm going to play her video, and it's backwards. I should have played her video first. That's going to explain a little bit more about what's going on. Man, we have got to do something. This is getting old. All of this. I'm not just talking about her fight. I'm talking about the Second Amendment fight, the First Amendment fight, the Fourth Amendment fight. I'm talking about all of the fights. All of the fights. I got to thinking about something earlier today. Because you see me all the time fighting for people that I have no association with whatsoever. No personal involvement, nothing. It's what I spend my life doing. Fighting for the rights of people I don't even know. And I got to thinking, why, Mike? Why? How many people have stood up and fought for you? The answer is not many. But I asked myself, why do you continue to keep fighting? And the answer is simply what I've been saying all along. Same thing I've been saying all along. Lead by example. It doesn't matter whether or not I've got people fighting for me. It doesn't matter whether or not I've got people fighting to help me see my children again. Doesn't matter. It has no relevance whatsoever to what I should do. I just thought about that today, and I'm like, damn. Sometimes I don't even realize just how much I do lead by example and do the things that I say, not just say the things. Anyway, let me play her video real quick. Again, the channel, if you want to check out this video, is Texas Cannabis Queen. And the video is titled, I'm on death row for surviving cancer. Kylee Gail Dixon, 13-year-old Oregon medical refugee.
Hi, my name is Kylee, and I've written down a few things I'd like to get on video. It sucks to see my mom trying so hard to save my life again. She's already saved my life before about a year ago when the doctor from Dormecker Hospital was slowly killing me with chemotherapy. She wanted to give me another treatment before I even had a fighting chance to get better from my last round of chemo. I couldn't even walk, talk, or breathe on my own, so that next treatment would have killed me. But my mom said no, and fought hard to get me out of the hospital. My mom fought for my life right out of the hospital. The doctors told her, you're going to kill your daughter within 4 weeks. My mom said I rebuked that and then studied a lot to get me on every natural regimen possible. Within 3 days out of the hospital, my mom got me on 7 regimens that helped me to walk, talk, and breathe on my own again. 3 months later, I was not only surviving, but doing a lot better than ever health-wise. But the doctor didn't like that my mom was able to do all of that off of natural medications, so she sent CPS after us, and they took all my mom's medical rights away. How is this fair to me? Nobody fights for me besides my mom, who can't afford an attorney. She can hardly afford my natural meds because she had to quit her business over a year ago. I have suffered for the last year and a half, and all I want is to go back to school, to feel like a normal kid as much as I can. I don't want to have to wonder if I'm going to live or die every day of my life anymore because of this doctor who continues to come after us and wants me back on chemo and then wants me to do a liver transplant regardless of the fact that I no longer need that kind of treatment. Especially because the whole 6 months in the hospital, the chemotherapy never shrunk my tumor, not even a centimeter. But after the hospital, my mom was able to shrink it all the way down to only 10% left. And this doctor...
Okay, I want to clarify what she's saying there. Okay, this tumor... Oh, sorry, I don't mean to be screaming in the mic. I forgot I had to turn the volumes up. Sorry about that. So I just want to clear up what she's saying in case you didn't catch it. So after chemotherapy, which did absolutely nothing, chemo did nothing to reduce the size of the tumor. Nothing. And her mom started her on her own regimens, okay, which obviously did include cannabis. And it shrunk down to 10% of its original size. Or not original size, but you know what I'm saying, of its largest size. It shrunk 90%. 90%. So can you see why the medical community is like, oh, crap. We got to kidnap her and get her in here if we want to get this specimen, because she just about got it completely gone. We got to stop turning a blind eye to this stuff.
Still wants to do the same type of treatment as before when I first got diagnosed, regardless of all the healing that I've done for 10 months now. Nobody else will help my mom. I've watched her stay up night after night. I'll wake up and she's still up, late at night, calling, asking for help with no resources, no attorney, and nobody to help her. Everybody keeps turning their back. I just don't understand this, and I'm begging you to please help me. Help me have a normal life. This could be your daughter, and all I'm asking is for somebody to help my mom. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.
Okay. I wanted to cut my mic volume down before I started speaking. Sorry for the pause there. We've got to get a handle on this. We've got corporations, because that's what they are, masquerading as human services like the medical community. We've got corporations that are willing to kill people to make money and sit there and act like it's, they're taking the high road. We have got to fix this. And this is picking up. Not just this particular type of situation, but parents that are refusing to vaccinate their children, all kinds of different things. Child Services now is just having a heyday, going in and stealing, kidnapping people's kids. Supported by the courts, enforced by the police. So you tell me which one's the good guy. I want to see which one's the good guy. Because there are no good guys anymore. Not when it comes to a profit. And you have nothing but profit-hungry people there. You have government agencies that don't get their funding if they don't show that they're doing something, that they're actively doing something, even if it's doing something wrong. You've got law enforcement that absolutely cannot have a soul left in their bodies. Cannot. Not after what they do day in and day out. Seeking out people that barely have enough money to make it through their normal everyday life. And then hitting them with stupidity like, oh, well, your exhaust was a little loud, or you've got a blown out tail light. Here, have a $120 ticket, as if your life isn't hard enough. Yeah, you have to be a soulless piece of shit to allow yourself to be employed to do something like that. Fact. You have to be a soulless piece of shit to be a judge signing off on things like this. And you most certainly have to be a soulless piece of shit to work for a child, quote-unquote, protection services agency. I know I've said it multiple times, and I mean it. I mean it. I've proven it. Right here on the show, I've proven it. That I have walked away from more because of principle. Lead by example. Lead by example. I'm ready to lead. I need people to follow. We've got to fix this. We've got to fix this. It's coming in every single angle we turn, everywhere we look. we've got this nonsense. And what is the root of it? All of it? What's the root of it? Government. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have any form of government or anything like that, but the constitutional government that our forefathers had established was just fine. We didn't need this democracy crap that somebody came up with and decided was such a great idea for the great old USA. No, individual liberty, like our founding fathers intended. It's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. I guess. For some. I don't know. I don't live my life in fear. I don't live my life in fear that my neighbor's going to get crazed and come over here and hack me up with a knife. Right? I don't live in that fear. I don't need a number that I can call as I'm bleeding out on the floor because my neighbor attacked me with a knife. What I need is the ability to be able to protect myself from that crazy bastard. Not that the neighbor I'm pointing at, he's a good guy. I'm just saying, hypothetically. What I need is the ability to protect myself. That's what I need. Not a phone number. All right? Not a report. These folks are doing nothing good for this country at this point. Nothing good. All the way from the administrative branch, the legislative branch, the judicial branch, all the way down to their soulless enforcers. Anyway, I get a little fired up when children are involved and when things are being done for immoral reasons. And I'm sorry, if it's a very rare form of cancer, then I can't see how it's so critical that they need to get to the bottom of this and be able to try to figure out how to fight it and all of that if it's a non-issue for the most part to begin with. All right? Our government and their minions love to pick and choose. They love it. To pick and choose. But they also love to collect tax dollars to pay for it. Never realized how bad Stockholm Syndrome was in this country until this past year. It has been an eye-opener. Anyway, so like I said, I'll open up the floor for a little bit if anybody's got a particular topic they want to discuss before I go into headlines. Just kind of let me know. Just kind of checking over everything here. Several interesting things had happened today. I had a flight over Los Angeles, or leaving Los Angeles. Pardon me. I think going to Shanghai. And apparently had a compressor failure, I guess on takeoff or shortly after takeoff or whatever. So it needed to initiate the emergency landing procedures, of course, abort the flight because one engine, all the way to China from California, I think I'd prefer at least two engines. And so anyway, it was a Delta flight, and so they immediately started going into their emergency landing procedures. Well, considering that the plane was flying to Shanghai from Los Angeles. It had full tanks, guaranteed. Had full tanks. Well, one of the early on things you do in your emergency landing preparations is dump your extra fuel. Get all that extra weight out of the plane. And normally that's all good and well, but this plane didn't have altitude. This plane didn't have altitude at all. And so when he pulled that or pushed that button to dump that fuel, he dumped that fuel on an elementary school playground. So that is a shame. I think it was 17 children and 9 adults, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. Was apparently affected, was being treated. So obviously jet fuel is it's a skin irritant. It's going to burn the skin. It's, not good stuff to breathe. It's not, So it's kerosene is what it is. It's really high grade kerosene. Nonetheless, it will burn the skin, the eyes, the nasal pathogens and all of that good stuff, pathways, whatever. I said pathogens. I was in between pathways and passages. You pick one. But anyway, yeah, it is an irritant. So treating them for that. There's 70, I think it was 70 emergency responders took to the scene. I thought that was pretty amazing. So that's awesome. I like to see that. That's what we need. We don't need the 10 cop cars on the guy that had a blown taillight. We don't need that. What we need is to have 70 emergency services members show up when you've got under 30 patients. I mean, come on. That's awesome. That is completely awesome. That makes me happy to understand that, there weren't children that had to wait, or even adults that had to wait to be treated because of lack of personnel. So, because that stuff will burn. It does. It's a nasty kind of burning feeling. Anybody that's ever had a Zippo lighter leak in their pocket knows what I'm talking about. It's pretty well the same, real close to the same. Naphtha, which is lighter fluid, Zippo lighter fluid, and kerosene. They're not real far apart. Lighter fluid, I do think, is a little bit more irritating than kerosene is, but I think that's mainly because it's thinner, and it can kind of work its way down into the skin a little bit more. But nonetheless, let's see. Okay, let me go. I did see, by the way, I know you guys were talking about that warning that went out up in Canada, and I know that there was a lot of conspiracy talk around that and all that. Yeah, honestly, I think somebody hit something that they shouldn't have hit, a button that they shouldn't have hit. I think, I think that's probably easier done than most people think, and I don't think it was an issue. On the other hand, be prepared for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being ready for it. Because one day you may get that warning and it may not be an accident or whatever they say that it is. But, yeah, it's it's crazy. It's the world we live in. We live a little ways away. Well, we've got 2 nuke plants kind of in the area, but they're both a little ways away. One of them, we wouldn't have to worry about for the most part ever, because we are southwest of the plant. So chances of having a wind come this direction from that plant are pretty slim. But there is one, Callaway over in Missouri, but that's a pretty good distance away. And so, if something were to happen with that, I think we would be, for the most part, I think we would be okay. I would probably be a bit concerned if if it was either raining when the event happened, or I would be very mindful of any plumes. So, but let's see. Let me go ahead and do the headlines. Okay. Moscow talks offer chance for peace in Libya's post-NATO intervention bloody civil war. I think I read the headline yesterday. Wanton threat. Let me try that again. Pardon me. Wanton threats solve nothing. China blasts long-arm jurisdiction of U.S. sanctions. U.S. officials brand possible Huawei 5G rollout in UK act of madness as MI5 plays down U.S. fear-mongering. And that's all it is. It's fear-mongering. This isn't about cybersecurity. This is about a market. This is a financial thing. That's what this is all about. Not security. It's about market. And what it is Trump is trying to block them from from a U.S. market. And he's trying to blackball them from any other markets anywhere else. Now, I don't know what the inside scoop is. I don't know who their competitor is or whatever the case may be, but this is what this is about. This has nothing to do with cybersecurity. This has everything to do with trying to control markets, which I am completely against. You can't be for controlling markets and be for free markets at the same time. You can't. You can't have both. You can't say you're for capitalism and be okay with this at the same time. You simply cannot. You cannot. But it is what it is. Apple says it passed FBI many gigabytes of data in Pensacola shooter probe, disputes AG's claim of no substantial help. So you should probably pay attention to both parts of that headline. Okay, but I'm telling you, these tech companies, they're not going to protect you. They don't give a damn about your rights. They don't care. They care about their wallet. 6 killed in China after massive exploding sinkhole swallows bus as passengers board. That would have been messed up. Libyan General Haftar left Moscow talks without signing truce with Tripoli-based GNA. Let's see. With their statehood destroyed by NATO, Libya's warring sides should come to terms and not fight each other, says Lavrov. Which is crazy, you know? I mean, it is crazy what is going on politically, financially, just absolutely crazy. You know, all the countries need to go back to minding their own business. And if they want to trade, shouldn't be a problem with that, right? But what we need, as far as trade is concerned, is we need, I'm not saying one world currency, but we need one currency between nations, okay? Meaning like if you buy something from China or from Europe or from Australia, you use the same currency. All countries, all nations in between one another use one currency. That way it can't be devalued, it can't be toyed with, it can't be none of that. Okay? But then each nation can have their own separate sovereign currency of their own for their citizens to deal with. So, you know, I think what is going on is insane, and I think it's because so many countries, so many governments are so involved in other governments and picking sides and this and that and the other thing, and a lot of it, like I say, it's profit. It's a profit-based system. I mean, we can stop that. We can stop that, but we have to all go back to our own countries, mind our own business. I'm not saying if you're from a different country, go back. I'm saying we need to mind our own business, worry about our own country first. Trump, not Israel first, our own country first, like you said. And, you know, we need to work something out between nations as far as some type of a currency. And like I said, that way one nation couldn't play games with another nation because of, devaluing money or stocks or whatever the hell. I'm not a financial expert, far from it. But it seems like, the problems are not as complex as they want you to think they are, right? But all of the fixes involve those at the top right now not being able to continue rising as fast as what they are, basically. Not saying that if we did this, then, the people at the top now would fall down. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. They just wouldn't have as big of a profit margin. They wouldn't be able to play the games that they're playing now to have that profit margin. But you know the cool thing? This is the cool thing. And it could go two ways. It could go either way here. But if there was one currency that each nation used, and I know, the U.S. dollar is the reserve. No. No nation's currency. Right? This would be a currency only used between nations, not used within a nation. That's important. That's important. Because that's how the United States has been screwing over so many other nations for so long. Was because of the U.S. dollar being the global reserve currency and being what, the oil has been traded in. But what this would do, it would do one of two things, right? Because if I had an item that sold for 3 spats, we'll call them spats. I don't know why. We'll call them spats, right? I've got an item that sells for 3 spats. And that item's going to sell for 3 spats pretty much probably anywhere, right? So the workers in some of these other countries like China and Taiwan and all of that are getting paid way too little would either start making more or, and this is what you more likely see, to be honest, at least they would try, we would be making less here because that's what they're trying to do. I'll remind everybody of the words of George Bush Sr., some of the most horrifying words I've ever heard in my life. We need to better compete in the global economy. So you have to decipher that phrase. What does it mean, better compete in the global economy? Well, that means we need to be able to offer things faster and cheaper, right? To be able to compete in the global economy. Well, faster is one thing, cheaper is a whole nother. When you've got somebody working for, in relation, in comparison, pennies a day in China versus even minimum wage here, okay, the only way you're going to better compete is to lower the standard of living, which is exactly what they have been doing ever since Bush Sr. has been president, including Trump. He's no exception here. No exception at all. They have been lowering the standard of living. That's why they've got everybody arguing with each other. You don't deserve $15 an hour for flipping burgers. Trump back up 2020. That's all I hear. I mean, that is all I can hear anymore when I hear these idiots speak. That's all I hear. They are clueless. Clueless. And the more obvious it gets, the more clueless they get. It's crazy. It's crazy. I thought the left was Looney Tunes. Holy cow. But anyway, I digress. Right? We won't even get into the whole General Soleimani thingy because idiots on the right don't even realize that he was instrumental in helping us against ISIS. ISIS is literally celebrating that Trump assassinated him. And the right is so retarded, they're over there, USA, America, MAGA. Literally. That's how fucking stupid they are. That's stupid. ISIS is celebrating this guy's death. And the right is so worried about covering up their orange man and making him look good. No different than the left. Not one bit different. It's frustrating. Anyway, got off on a tangent there. U.S. federal budget deficit surpassed $1 trillion in 2019, reaching a 7-year high. Turkey will not refrain from teaching, and I don't know what this is, Pushchist Haftar? I'm not sure what that is. Lesson if he keeps attacking Libya's government and people, says Erdogan. I think thinking maybe that might be a word, an insulting type of word. You know, like asshole, Haftar, or whatever. I don't know. Iran makes arrest over accidental downing of Ukrainian airliner. Dozens killed as heavy snow and rain hits Pakistan, triggering avalanches. London rejects Scotland's request for second independence referendum. I love that. They rejected their request for an independence referendum. Now, why do I have a problem with that statement? France, Germany, and UK blame Iran for violating nuclear deal. Key restrictions trigger mechanism to investigate non-commitment. Fitch keeps Pakistan's credit rating unchanged while investment soars. Neither robot nor animal. Yeah, this is wonderful news. Scientists develop the Xenobots, first robots constructed completely from living cells. Fun times. Chinese petrochemical factory consumed by huge fireball after massive explosion. Johnson has snubbed Scotland's inalienable right to self-determination by rejecting second referendum, says George Galloway. I mean, how do you, when you're going for independence, how does somebody tell you that no, you can't fight for independence? You're not independent. I control you. You can't. 1,200 French doctors resign from supervisory roles in protest over government funding for public hospitals. Iran warns against destructive measures, promises firm response as EU trio starts nuclear deal non-compliance investigation. Boeing's troubles could drag down U.S. dollar. Peter Schiff tells RT's boom bust. And I don't really follow this. I shared, and I be honest, I didn't read the article, but I know Boeing's a huge company, but wow, it could really drag down the U.S. dollar. It's that big. Shouldn't we be doing something to prevent companies from being that large? That, you know, a failure of the company could devastate the economy? I mean, that makes no sense to me. So, yeah, I don't know. Libya's Haftar positive about outcome of Moscow talks, but needs 2 days for discussions with tribal leaders, says the Russian Ministry of Defense. I'd say that's fair. I mean, that's more than fair. It'd be nice to see them be able to just kind of put down their arms and stop warring. You know, hopefully they can keep NATO and the UN far away from them. You know, it's a shame. It is a shame what is happening in these countries. And guess who's the number one country behind it? America. Doomsday arrives for Windows 7 tech support, leaving users to fend for themselves. It's just the end of service, the end of support for Windows 7. So it doesn't mean your computer's going to melt on the table or explode or go attack your neighbor's cat. It doesn't matter. It just means that you're not going to be able to dial an 800 number, wait 2 or 3 days on hold, and speak to somebody that you can't understand. That's all it means, basically. That's it in a nutshell. Can the U.S. bomb Iran? Defense Chief Esper says no, then changes his mind. They make up their own rules at this point. So, Kansas man in custody battle requests trial by combat. There needs to be an echo right now, right? Trial by combat. With Japanese swords forged for the occasion. This is great. I love it. I love the idea. This should be promoted, right? This should be an option for all divorce and custody cases right now. Trial by combat. Why not? Yeah, I don't think that they're going to grant him his request, by the way. French pension reform activists set up mobile barbecue on nice tram tracks mid-protest. Huge explosion rocks chemical plant in Spain. Locals urged to stay indoors. Insurers warn of volcano apocalypse as investors make bank on catastrophe bonds. Which is insane. And when I saw this today, it made me think of something else. Got all these new regulations that they're working on with drones, right? I'll bet you, before it's all said and done, in order to legally operate a drone in the United States, I am willing to bet you that they're going to start requiring, and this may just be for drones 250 grams or more, but I bet you that they make an insurance requirement for drone pilots. I will lay money on it. Let's see. Because that's one of the biggest racketeering scheme other than our quote-unquote criminal justice system there is. Rockets reported fired at Taji military base in Iraq that hosts U.S. and New Zealand troops. Non-commitment probe into Iran by France, Germany, and the UK, groundless, only increases tensions around nuclear deal, says Russia. Syrian air defenses are intercepting attack on airbase in Homs, says state media. Talked about this. Over 2 dozen, including children, injured after Boeing 777 dumps fuel on elementary school outside Los Angeles. Firefighters contain blaze at Spanish chemical plant. And lastly, hear no evil, see no evil, print no evil. MSM warned journalists away from Burisma Biden info after hack report. Not going to fix till we fix it. Not going to fix itself. It doesn't work that way. Has never happened that way in history. It's not going to happen that way this time. We just have to realize it and then get busy. So anyway, that's what I've got for the monologue. For those here for the live show, stick around. We'll be live till 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Those here just for the monologue, or if you're watching the recording later on, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.